This is a OnePlus 8T, and this is a OnePlus 7 Pro. Both devices are here to go head to head and see which one is better, a 2019 flagship device or a 2020 premium mid-ranger. Let's see. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, MTG here with another episode. If you're new to the channel, hi there. Today, the 8T and 7 Pro, like I said, will be going head to head, so I hope you do enjoy the video. But before I do begin, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who is subscribed to the channel as we recently hit 5,000 subscribers. I'm super grateful for all of you for supporting the channel, and I really appreciate if you can give this video a thumbs up and turn on the bell notifications, as it does help out the YouTube algorithm and pushes my content to more people so we can get to our next goal of 10,000 subscribers. Anyway, let's get this video started. Design. The OnePlus 8T feels super light in the hand. I mean, I was expecting it to be a little bit more heavy and thicker, but even at 8.4 millimeters, it comes in super light, like especially when I compare it to my OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, I'm pretty sure that the 7 Pro's curved display really does make a huge difference in accidental touches, and since I wasn't a big fan of curved displays, I really do enjoy the display on the OnePlus 8T. The back is a glossy glass coated in a light green color, which is actually called aquamarine green, that really does attract a lot of fingerprints, at least in my case. So I will be putting either a skin or a case on the phone. The other option you have is the lunar silver, which has more of a matte finish. Now when you take a glance at this device, specifically at the camera module, it kind of does resemble the Samsung Galaxy S20, but when you look at it very closely, you'll see that's really not. I've quickly come to like this design. It's super clean. The OnePlus 8T comes with a 6.55-inch 120Hz Fluid AMOLED display, which when I compare it to the 7 Pro, the 8T honestly looks better, and that's probably because it has a flat display. I can only notice the 120Hz though when I look at it very closely, but that's pretty much because I've gotten used to 90Hz and there really isn't much of a jump from 90 to 120. If you have a 60Hz device, you'll instantly notice how fluid and smooth the display is. The 8T has a brightness of 1100 nits, and yeah, that's pretty darn bright. Colors on the 8T are on point, and I was expecting that because OnePlus has been pushing out awesome displays since the OnePlus 7 Pro. The screen is the part of the phone you interact with the most, right? The 7 Pro is no slouch either. Like everything I just mentioned about the 8T, the 7 Pro has, except it has a Quad HD curved Fluid AMOLED display with 90Hz. So its 90Hz Quad HD display is amazing, and it was my daily driver for the longest time. When I first got the phone, the screen had wowed me, and literally nearly 2 years later after its release, it still wows me. There has been no issue for me whatsoever with this screen. I'm glad that OnePlus continues to push improvements in display. It is a tad larger than the 8T with a glass back as well, but sadly, no wireless charging for those who use it. Both devices feel super premium with their design, but I'd choose the 8T for its slightly slimmer body and lighter size. Oh, and its flat display. Software. The OnePlus 8T is OnePlus's latest device to ship with Android 11. In fact, OnePlus ships their phones with Oxygen OS. Oxygen OS 11 to be exact. This is their skin they put on top of Android. However, for the longest time, everybody knew and loved Oxygen OS for its near stock Android experience. So if you're used to Oxygen OS, well then get ready for a new design. It's not bad by any means, don't get me wrong, like I actually like it, but it's drifted away from the Oxygen OS we all used to know and love. So if you have the OnePlus 7 Pro, you're gonna get the update sooner or later with Android 11, but you'll notice the change for sure. Now, Oxygen OS, like I said, was well known for its near stock Android experience with a couple of extra tweaks and features. While this new design is rocking the latest Android 11, it doesn't feel like that stock experience. Just a tad bit. Nonetheless, I still overall like this new design change, even if it's not what I'm usually accustomed to from previous iterations of Oxygen OS. You know what? Coming from the OnePlus 7 Pro, I really do appreciate OnePlus' efforts. You might hear many people saying that OnePlus has gone the way of Samsung's One UI, but I don't necessarily agree with that. In fact, OnePlus states that Oxygen OS 11 is a refreshingly simple yet bold design to help you enjoy a more burdenless flagship experience. Fluidity and responsiveness are a key point in OnePlus devices, And it's no different in the 8T and 7 Pro. If you're looking for fluidity and responsiveness, there you go. OnePlus 8T and 7 Pro, you have it. There, done. Camera. This is where things get different. The OnePlus 8T comes equipped with 4 cameras, and let me be honest, I wish that the choices were different. We're getting a main 48 megapixel with an aperture of f1.7, and it does perform fairly well in daylight. Then we have a 16 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 123-degree field of view, which I really appreciate. A wider angle is better if you're looking to capture more in an image. Then we have a 5 megapixel macro camera, and well, it's definitely better than what we've seen, like a 2 megapixel macro camera. However, do we really need a macro camera? Like I said, I was going to use it in my first impressions, but guess what? I really didn't. I mean, it comes in useful once in a while, but you won't be consistently using the macro camera as often as a wide angle lens or the main lens or a telephoto lens. Lastly, we get a 2 megapixel monochrome lens, and I won't use this. I just won't. I literally used it once just for testing, and that's it. After that, didn't use it. Anyway, I wish OnePlus just added a telephoto lens in place of the monochrome, but that's just me. In fact, it would be better if companies would actually work to put in camera lenses that would be useful. I don't care if a phone has 4 or 5 camera lenses. I want a phone that has 4 or 5 camera lenses that I can or that everyone will consistently use. Or I just want a phone that has a camera that performs very well, aka something like the Pixel 4a, which has a main lens that I think performs better than both the OnePlus 7 Pro and the OnePlus 8T. So bam, there you have it. Some people probably want to hear that, so I had to put it in there. Now, as for the 7 Pro, it comes with a primary 48 megapixel camera, and since I've had this phone since its release, I've really enjoyed the daylight photos. I mean, they're more so the same with the 8T, so no issues there. The 7 Pro also includes an ultra-wide lens that isn't as wide as the 8T, but it still gets plenty of what you want in the image. The third lens is a telephoto lens, yes, which is the lens that should have been on the 8T. I know a lot of people take wide angle lens more so than the telephoto lens, but I mean, the 8T doesn't have a telephoto lens, and sometimes you want to use it, yeah, you don't have it. Not going to lie, but I just like the overall camera setup on the 7 Pro over the 8T. As for the front, quality on both is pretty much the same, but I just like the pop-up on the 7 Pro because I have that full screen design, and after getting used to it, the hole punch camera sticks out like a sore thumb to me. Now, both these phones, overall, they perform alright. They're not going to blow your mind, and they're nowhere near the Pixels or iPhones of this world. There is one possible solution to getting better results, however, and that's with the Pixel 5 Gcam APK. I said Pixel 5 because that's a newer Gcam APK. I've been using the Pixel 4 Gcam on my 7 Pro, and I've definitely seen the improvements. Now I'm working on a video on how to get the Pixel 5 Gcam APK on both Android 11 and Android 10 devices, so definitely be on the lookout for that video when it drops. I'm going to throw a couple of sample images, so enjoy. Performance. There really isn't much to say in the performance department because OnePlus has been nailing it for years. Now while the 8T doesn't come with the slightly upgraded Snapdragon 865 Plus, the regular 865 chipset is still the flagship chipset of 2020, so don't expect any issues whatsoever. The 7 Pro ships with the 2019 Snapdragon 855 chipset, which is obviously no slouch either. Both of my models ship with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, but you can obviously find a 8 gig RAM and 128 gig storage for each of the 8T and the 7 Pro. So ones I have, they add to the beauty of performance. The fluidity and smoothness of both the 8T and the 7 Pro it gets me every time. I've been playing Call of Duty Mobile on both devices and I haven't experienced any heating issues on either phone. Now, when we talk about performance in smartphones, especially in Android smartphones, the first brand that comes to my mind is OnePlus. If you need a device mainly for its speed and performance, OnePlus should be at the top of your list. Now, if you're looking for which one will last longer, the 8T might go for a little bit longer as it's the newer device with the newer chipset. Battery. Yes, my favorite part of OnePlus devices. So, the OnePlus 7 Pro supports 30-watt warp charge, which was a selling feature for me. I never needed to charge the 7 Pro at night, and all I would do was plug it in for 30 minutes in the morning and I'd be set for the day. Sounds awesome, right? Yeah, after I used the OnePlus 8T, didn't really sound that awesome. Now I feel like the OnePlus 7 Pro charge is super slow. When I tried out Warp Charge 65, oh my god. The battery department is a huge thing for OnePlus, especially for the OnePlus 8T, and it's something that they really focused on. Now, the 8T comes equipped with a 4,500 mAh battery, but with its new twin battery cell. OnePlus has equipped 12 thermal monitors to keep the phone cool and at a safe temperature level. The company also claims that you can get a full charge in 39 minutes, 0 to 100 in less than 40. So I went ahead and put the phone to the test. I also made a video specifically about how fast is Warp Charge 65, so I'll leave a link of that in the description down below. But the results were staggering. 0 to 100% in 34 minutes. I'm sold. Done. That's it. Literally, that's it. Now, the 8T has a full HD display with a fairly large battery, which lasted me and still lasts me the entire day. I would typically end the day, and I'm looking at my phone, I have 32%, but around 35 to 40%, and this is with 120 Hz turned on. If I want to conserve more battery, I can drop the refresh rate to 60 Hz, but that just kills the entire experience of 120 Hz, so I just leave it on. As for the 7 Pro, it comes equipped with a 4,000 mAh battery, and after using it for almost 2 years, the battery still doesn't disappoint. Granted, I'm not ending the day at about 40% like the OnePlus 8T, but rather at about 15 to 20%. The 7 Pro has a 90 Hz refresh rate, which obviously isn't as smooth as 120 Hz, but it's miles better than 60 Hz, and if you want to conserve more battery, then you can decrease the refresh rate as well as the resolution from Quad HD to Full HD. Neither phone has wireless charging, like I said, and while that may disappoint some, I don't really have the need for it because of Warp Charge. So, keep it up, OnePlus. Price. In the US, the OnePlus 8T retails for $749 for 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. And to be honest, the 8T is in for a lot of competition. There's a Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, which is a super good buy, and also the newly released Pixel 5. And don't forget the iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 12, which are pretty good upgrades as iPhones. Forget that, 2019 flagships are amazing performers for super cheap. You can find the OnePlus 7 Pro with its flagship specs for $340 to $400. That is insanely good. I'll leave a couple of links down below. OnePlus devices are super reliable, and for this price, it's totally worth it. If you want the latest and greatest from OnePlus at this point, I would say either go for the OnePlus 8 Pro or wait for the OnePlus 9 Pro. So the question now is OnePlus 8T or OnePlus 7 Pro? It's a tough choice, but I'm going to have to say OnePlus 7 Pro. The main differentiating factor for me, and probably for a lot of people, especially during these times, is the price. Performance more so was the same for me. Other than the 120Hz display, I really haven't noticed any huge difference because the 7 Pro is a 2019 flagship, which means that its specs will not disappoint. The 8T is a tough buy with all of its competitors offering the same or even better specs at a lower price. Since both devices are OnePlus, you can't go wrong with either one technically, but it does beg the question, which is the better bang for the buck? Anyway, everybody, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to superman that like button, comment down below, because with the more interactions we get on this video, not only helps the video and the channel, but also pushes the video out to more viewers. And best of all, superman that subscribe button. Until next time, everybody, and until next video, this is MTG.